Mom and sister hybrid. This happened when I was 13. It was summer and my parents took my sister and I on vacation. We were staying in a rented cottage. There were 2 bedrooms. My parents slept in one room, my sister slept in the other, and I slept on the couch. For some reason, I couldn't sleep and just lay there tossing and turning. It was around 4 a.m. and it was beginning to get light outside. All of a sudden, I heard the creak of a door slowly opening and the sound of footsteps as someone came out into the hallway. I couldn't make out who it was in the dim light. I thought it looked like my mother, but something about her didn't seem quite right. Hey, Mom? What are you doing? There was no response. I thought it must be my sister, so I said, "Hey sis, what's up?" The figure didn't respond. I had an uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach. I had no idea why. Then, the figure slowly turned around and I saw its face. My heart skipped a beat. It wasn't my mother or my sister. It looked like a hybrid of both of them. As if their features had somehow been rolled into one. The figure started moving towards me. I was so scared I didn't know what to do. I just laid there and tried to pretend I was asleep. Then the worst thing that could have happened. The thing saw me. I saw its face twist into an expression of sheer rage, and when it looked at me, I saw its eyes were completely black. My whole body was trembling. Then it opened its mouth wide, unnaturally wide, and screamed. No! It kept screaming. No! 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 As it turned and darted down the stairs to the basement, I heard a door slam shut. I lay there for a long time, just shaking and pinching myself to make sure I was awake. I couldn't move a muscle. An hour must have gone by before I heard a door open upstairs and my parents and my sister came down for breakfast. I told them what had happened, but they laughed and said I must have imagined it or dreamt it. I insisted that we all go down and search the basement, but it was empty. For the rest of the vacation, I refused to sleep on that couch again. Instead, I spent every night on the floor beside my parents' bed.
My evil twin. This started happening when I was 15. One weekend, my parents and I went to Grandma's house for dinner. My uncle was there too, and he was very angry with me. He claimed he had run into me the day before, and he had a bone to pick with me. He said he was walking around downtown when he saw me with a group of teenagers swearing at random people in the street. He said he walked up to me to tell me off, and I started swearing at him. I told him it wasn't possible. I was a shy teenager, and I would never have done something like that. Besides, I hadn't even been downtown the day before. My uncle insisted that he had seen me, and the more I denied it, the angrier he became. My parents and my grandma sided with him. They were all furious with me and refused to believe it was a case of mistaken identity. They almost had me convinced that I might have some kind of mental illness, like a split personality. I let the whole thing go, but it really bothered me that I had been accused of something that I didn't do. A year later, it happened again. My mom came home from work and was very angry with me. She said her friend had been on a bus, and she saw me sitting in the back of the bus swearing at people. She came down to give me a piece of her mind, but I just started swearing at her. I tried to tell my mom it wasn't me, but she refused to believe it. The bus was one I would never even take. A few years later, it happened again. Another friend of mother's had supposedly seen me in a park, swearing at people. She went up to me and told me off, but as usual, I swore at her too. I have never ever been in that park. I really don't think that it was me. I'm convinced it was my doppelganger. It freaks me out, and I'm worried that someday my evil double might do something really bad, and I will be blamed for it.